Now, you might think throwing paper planes, that is childish. Is a children's game.
So childish, our crew. But it can be serious business when you're aiming for a world record. Our Nathan Templeton met a Melbourne man who claims he's rewritten the history books.
Whoa.
Nathan, how has he done it?
Well, Sam and Koshi, Greg Shalless is a very interesting man. He's a former computer science teacher. He's an absolute whiz when it comes to things like games and puzzles. But his latest obsession is paper planes, and he's won himself a spot in the Guinness Book of World Records. Greg Shalless is a man of many talents.
We didn't have a TV in our house till I was 15, so we played board games non-stop.
One board game in particular became more than just a hobby.
In 1981, I was runner-up in the Australian Scrabble Championship. It's a long story, but I was robbed. I should have been the winner.
Unhappy at being robbed, Greg moved on to the Rubik's Cube.
It consumed a lot of my life. My wife wanted to chuck it out the window many, many times. And now I can do it in about 2 or 3 minutes.
Next, he became a sucker for Sudoku.
When I solved my first Sudoku puzzle, I decided, don't do this, Greg. You don't need another distraction.
Naturally, though, he was soon creating the Sudoku puzzles for newspapers. But 2 years ago, a new passion was sparked when Greg's daughter bought him a book about paper planes. Now he's designed 45 models of his own.
So this flaps its wing like the Curralong Ascending. Over here we've got the Catch Me If You Can plane. This is the first plane I just mucked around with when I was a kid and refined its design. It does a loop-the-loop. It's called Paper Plane 101, and if you tweak it right, it goes dead straight. The masterpiece, the record breaker, this is the Zoomerang.
It's the Zoomerang that recently helped Greg sail into the history books. The aim is to throw the plane around this pole dancing pole and catch it over and over and over. It's not the most dynamic sport in the world, so the keen AFL fan uses a few tricks to stay focused.
This is a bit like watching a batsman make 200 one single at a time. So I try to introduce a bit of banter. So when we got to 64, I said, Demon Premiership here.
After folding a fresh plane for the record attempt, Greg breezed past the old mark of 75.
There's the record.
Then he flew all the way to 318 before finally crashing out.
Oh, 318.
Now Greg just needs to send off the video and paperwork to Guinness to have his record ratified. Thinking it looked pretty straightforward, I decided to give it a whirl.
Oh, nice work.
1. The first few seemed easy enough until perhaps some overconfidence kicked in and my streak ended at 3. So the only option was to save face on the Scrabble board. This is going to blow you away. Some and a triple letter score, thank you.
Well, that's pretty good, but I've got hypoxia. And Yeshiva's got 2 spellings. So I've got triple Yeshiva, triple hypoxia with the X and the double letter. Oh, how about that?
He's making them up now.
Yeah, so I did lose that game convincingly, but where we filmed that story, a place called Kids Unlimited, is where Greg works. He teaches school children how to play chess and computer programming and problem solving, so it's great that he's passing on his massive knowledge and curiosity to young kids. His next aim is to get 1,000 loops around the pole dancing pole.
Is that a pole dancing pole? That's so funny. What a wonderful man, Nathan. Thank you for bringing us that story. That's lovely.
Oh, what a character.
Yeah.
Still to come this Thursday, the Royals in mourning, a shock death.